These are micro adjust belts, handmade right here in the shop by us. Premium leather, solid brass hardware, and the rounded buckle so it doesn't dig into your gut all day. But what is micro adjust? Well, the one problem everyone always has with their belts is one hole's too tight, one's too loose. These little adjustments right here allow you to adjust your belt by 1/2 inch increments so it fits you exactly how you want for the lifetime of the belt. So check them out below. Mocktober unboxing today. Pretty cool one. We got an iconic knife, we got Nikwax, and a Russell Moccasin backcountry sample 9E bird shooter. What could it be? So this is mostly just kind of like a fun little side project that we started talking about maybe like a year and a half ago, like forever ago. It's like one of the first initial concepts, but this concept is a little touchy. You know, it involves some other brands, it involves a lot of brands, and it's all about what a real moccasin is and where they all came from and kind of the history of moccasin boots, or at least mock toe boots. And this collaboration drops on October 30th. So get ready for it. This is super limited quantities, and I think we're only doing 100, maybe somewhere between 100 and 200, I think is what we're gonna end up doing. And these are just really cool. You know, we sell like 1/5 of what we do with some like the Pacific Northwest collaborations, but it's just a really cool brand to work with because they actually have the history to back it up. They are actually one of the trendsetters in one of the most iconic boots of all time, the mock toe style. And so, yeah, they're just cool little like ways to show different angles of these old school brands that are really doing it the old school way, and give you some unique opportunities to buy some one-off boots that are pretty rare. Because most of these things most of these collaborations, we really push the brands like, hey, let's try this, try that, you know, so it gets a little out of hand. So, what knife? Iconic. Life with an edge. Nice little iconic sticker. What about the knife? Dang. That thing is smooth. That's how this the 6 Hour version was too. The 6 Hour version, I think it's really close. It might be the same knife. I can't remember, but it has that same, because it almost feels like a gun. It's very mechanical. It's very smooth. It might just be because I assumed it, or I might have associated it with a gun because of the 6 Hour version. But it does feel, I don't know how to describe it. It does feel like the action of a gun, you know? Oh, what was I watching the other day? I was watching that new Leonardo DiCaprio movie. He had it looked like a Remington, and he was like, in one of the most climactic scenes, his bolt was wide open and like flipped up instead of like locked down. It was funny. He's got his gun and the bolt is wide open. I'm like, how did nobody catch that? But these knives are sweet, these iconic knives. Let's see how much it is. Okay, here it is, RKC 9. I got it in green, I think. So 95 bucks, it's pretty cool. Iconic has partnered with Ramon Chavez of Chavez Knives and Tools to produce these classic and functional everyday carry blades. The RCK9 is the ninth of Ramon Chavez's original designs. This design was originally a fixed blade working knife used for ranch work. It has been converted into a do-everything flipper. The knife is identifiable at first glance as the profile Chavez knives are famous for. Like with all iconic knives, quality and everyday functionality is who we are. We're featuring 4 styles, including one with the partial serration for outdoor enthusiasts and duty use. Pretty sweet. I love the way those knives feel. It feels so, this actually looks better in real life than the one on their website. I feel like this looks way better. Oh, it's because it's a different one. It's micarta green instead of canvas green. Yeah, that's cool. And got some Nikwax. We'll use this later. We'll get to this. I just wanted to show it to you, but we'll do a little bit on this boot just so you can see how it all works. Nikwax. So you can see we've got our footwear cleaning gel, nubuck and suede proof waterproofer, fabric and leather proof waterproofer, and waterproofer wax for leather. So like really heavy duty. And then you got your brush to scrub it in. Because I want to show you what these boots would look like with kind of like a wax nubuck kind of tone to it, but also show you the difference between a nubuck waterproofer and a fabric waterproofer. What's the difference? How much darker does this actually get? How much darker does this actual wax make the leather? So do a little trial. I've always wanted to try Nikwax because they're really popular with a lot of industries. Not so popular with like the boot world. But some diehard Nikwax fans are like, it's the only thing you use on boots. It's the best for this, this, and this. So it'd be pretty cool to check it out and see how it performs. Now to the main event. The reason we're all here. This might be a short one because we'll cover more of it in the final unboxing because there's a couple of adjustments I think we need to make to this. So, iconic knives. Okay. One of one rose Anvil sample. Ooh. They got a smell to them, tell you what. Okay, here we go. Dang, look at that. Oh my gosh, I forgot we were doing this color. That is so sick. Oh my gosh. Look at that. What does this look like? Does this look like every working moccasin boot, mock toe boot of all time? Look at these. Every brand that's in that heritage space has a moccasin style or a mock toe boot that has like an orangey kind of leather, whether it's rough out, whether it's smooth out. It's got a wedge sole on it. It's built in a traditional way with like a Goodyear welt or stitch down or moccasin style construction. They're traditionally constructed, and they all come back to these original styles of moccasins. Not just Russell's, but that's that story I want to get to, is like, why do all these other brands have this exact boot, but none of them have the features and the benefits you get from this exact boot? And we're gonna kind of trace the history and the lineage of how 99% of mock toe boots nowadays don't even have a reason for a mock toe. You know, it's all 99% of the time a fake moccasin construction. And there's an interesting history. And so this was my attempt with Russell's to do, because I love the Oro Legacy leather of Red Wing. I love how orange it is, I love how bright it is. But one of my most favorite leathers of all time in a moccasin, or a mock toe, it's hard to keep these straight, is the Irish Setter. What do they call it? It's Oro, it's like a red Oro Russet. Yeah, look at this boot. I love this boot. I think, I still love Oro Legacy a lot. Like that's kind of like the classic Red Wing mock toe color. But this is like when Irish Setter was a hunting brand. But they were kind of their hunting line. And so their boots had those boots had like different leathers, different features. And moccasins originally, or mock toe boots were originally for hunting outdoorsmen, or at least a lot of them were. And so that's kind of where that lineage comes through. And I wanted to do a leather that kind of split the difference between the Oro Legacy and that Oro Russet. But because, you know, we could have just done a regular like grain out leather and smooth and all that. But I really like the idea of adding in those extra elements that you'd probably want from the original idea of this boot being like an outdoors boot, a recreational boot. And so I wanted to do flesh out. And I think it looks so good. And it also gives it that kind of garnet kind of color to it. It has that really unique kind of reddish tones. Look how pretty that is. You know, with the rough out, it gives it that gradient of light hitting the different like angles of the fibers, giving it highlights and lowlights. Looks so freaking good. So just a quick intro to this collaboration, because there's still a few things that I want to adjust on this. Like we got to change that midsole to a white midsole, and I'm gonna wear these a little bit, just see how they feel, see how they fit, and like see if they actually feel like I want to try to figure out if they feel like the intended use should feel, and what are the benefits of a true moccasin construction compared to the fake mocks of today. So pretty quick. Oh, forgot to do this. So now, Brody's gonna run a few tests on a few leathers with this Nikwax. Nikwax. Once again, these boots, a more utility-based version of the true moccasin. You might want to use a heavy waterproofer that really coats this nap down and really lays it flat so it looks like a wax flesh to really waterproof it. But you also might want to use like a nubuck or suede proofer that's not going to screw the nap up quite as much. I think it's made specifically for fibrous leathers. And then the interesting thing is that this fabric and leather proofer, because Russells a lot of times have that panel of fabric. And so we're going to test out on the fabric and the leather just to see kind of the difference and what difference these two make. And then we'll try out the leather cleaner and see how it does. But I mostly want to focus on the waterproofers, because that's what really is the most confusing part of like conditioning boots is because it darkens so much. There's so many different ways to do it, different waxes, different sprays. So here's your results. And as you can see pretty clearly, like the actual wax waterproof is really, really heavy. The fabric waterproofer worked really well on the fabric without changing the color too much. You can see how it beads up and actually sinks into the fabric enough that it's not just gonna immediately seep through or absorb into it over time. And so that's everything you need to know with those Nikwax waterproofers, because for a lot of the boot nerds like me, I'm less concerned about which one I'm using for the right application and more of the effect I'm trying to get functionally with the waterproofing and aesthetically by how this changes the look of the leather. So there's 3 different ways you can waterproof your materials, whether it's fabric, leather, everything like that, in 3 different ways, depending on how waterproof you want it and how to apply it. We'll do some more testing of Nikwax. I want to really see how it performs on some other leathers, because I've never really dealt with it until today. And there's like the classic conditioning brands, and I really want to see how this performs compared to those, where this is not necessarily coming from the heritage world like a lot of the other conditioners are, or at least like the high-end world. And this is more of like the outdoors world. So that's it. Check out the iconic knife. Pretty sweet. Be on the lookout for when these drop on October 30th. We're only doing like 100 or 200 pairs, so they're gonna be super limited. It's just a really cool way to pay homage to the history of Russell and really tell the story of why there's so many mock toe boots out there, even though none of them are true moccasins. And just a way to pay homage to the history of American mock toe boots, because it's one of the most American styles because of this unique story of how moccasins were originally Native American footwear that then slowly got infused into United States culture. It's pretty cool. So thank you guys. Get ready for Mocktober. Actually, it is Mocktober by the time you're watching this, because I'm recording this on the 30th. So this Mocktober is gonna be cool. All the different mock toe brands, really getting into the details. What's the difference? What brands specialize in? Who makes the best mock toe? Who makes the most refined mock toe? The most comfortable mock toe? So much information to cover, and it's all like the classic most American brands out there. So thank you guys. See ya.